Alright, fellas, customer's just here, cool guy. There's a whole story behind that one. A local shop working on another machine he has, and hopefully he gets it all fixed, but he dropped this one off, so we're gonna clean this tomorrow while I'm out here. And he let it run out of fuel, and then last year, and it really won't run, but it runs with a bit of starting fluid, he says. And I pulled it over, it seems like it's fine. We're gonna give it a light wash. I don't want to wash it too heavy because we don't want the paint to flake off. The underside we're gonna hit with the pressure washer, but up top I think we're just gonna like light rinse it, get it degreased, a little bit of super clean on it. We'll do that tomorrow because I'm out in the yard straightening up, and I'm putting a whole bunch of machines aside for washing and parting because my buddy Juan's coming sometime next week or something, so he's been alerted, and I want to get it running. It's in good shape, so probably a carb cleaning. We'll clean the tank out. My best guess would be we'll get everything cleaned up and we'll get it running again for him. I'm going to take the fuel out of it before I wash it and take all the other stuff off. But you see all the dirt around the opening, right? That's, there's even some on the underside of the cap. It doesn't look like there's dirt in there, but from years of doing these things, it's going to fall in. So I always say to people, take a rag, careful, and get that stuff out of the way, and you'd be surprised how this can wind up in there. A wind will blow. Today it's a bit oily, but what if it's really dry out? And I've even seen this on the gas cans themselves. The gas cans, the nozzles, they're covered in filth. You tilt it over, oops, something fell in. Anyway, let me take these off. And like I said, we don't want to put any real pressure, like from the pressure washer, on any of this paint, because I'm not going to be repainting it, and I don't want to do that to him. What we're looking to get is inside. So let me get that done. We'll bring it out. We will super clean. We'll go higher pressure underneath, like I mentioned, and then we could take the carburetor off in the next couple of days when I have time. Now, you're not going to be able to see it, but I can see debris in there. And this is the fuel, so this is garbage. That's like mostly oil. That I don't even know what that is. It doesn't smell very good either. And I can see underneath here, there's all kinds of trash, of course, right? It's been a long time. So we're going to get that out, and we're going to check his air cleaner in a minute. Probably leave it off so we can get in there, because I'm not worried about water getting in. So the tank's got to come off, top and everything. We got to wash out this tank, and we got to wash out the whole top of the engine. You'll see it in a minute. So you got the 4 screws here on this model, and then one more back here, and then of course the top comes off. Everything comes apart. So I'm just going to leave it like this right now. And we're going to bring it out in a little bit when I get set up. And we'll give it a super clean and a light power wash. Like I said, and we'll come back. And then things like this will get lubricated. And, she'll be clean. We can check spark and do all of that. I don't know if I still have any of these coils left. I probably do. That's one of the things I want to do today. I got a whole bunch of these machines that I haven't thrown out yet, and I just want to pile them in the yard in a better spot than where they are. Getting lousy out. I can hear the wind, so I decided to just bring out the electric, which is fine for this, like what we're doing. So that's the Theander, Mr. Lance Lectri. Gave it a quick wash, right? And I got on this side, I got some super clean on it. And then I'll flip it, and we'll get some super clean on the other side. She's pretty clean now, right? She's getting nice. If I hit this thing hard with a good pressure washer, quick wire wheel, a little bit of primer, and some green paint, she'd be mint. Okay? She'd be mint. But I think that's beyond the scope. But I'll mention it to him if he wants to in the future to do it. I got to check the price, though, on the correct Lawn Boy paint. They're getting pricey. $25, $30 a spray can. you know, but it can be worth it though, fellas, you know. I mean, you're only going to do it once. Yeah, she needs to repaint. I tried, but, you know, and I really didn't even hit it. You could knock all this off and paint this and make it mint. I'll run it past them at some point. So this got clean. Everything got super clean, right? All that staining is off. And I ran that turbo nozzle in here for a little while and dumped it, then blew it with compressed air, got out as much as I could. And we're going to put a little bit of regular gas in it with the alcohol, slosh it around. I turn the valve off. Then we'll let it pee out of the valve and into this container, and then we'll blow it again, and I'll leave it over by the heater. I think I got one little heater on today, because tomorrow I'll take off. I'll probably be exhausted over the weekend. This can sit and dry then at that point, and then it'll be clean and dry when we're ready to work on this, which will either be Sunday or Monday. We'll see. I don't know. Probably Monday, most likely, because it's going to rain, and I can't finish cleaning up everything. So I'm just going to keep going till I fall down. All right, it's a couple of days later. And so this is tie wrapped over here. And we're going to unbolt this here, get the cable off. And then the screws are in the cover, so we're going to pull the cover off and I'll show you. But we'll just remove it. Just be careful taking it out. All right, I'm going to wash this out. I'll do that in a little bit. A little bit of dirt in there, all right? So this is probably like gooled up and clogged up, but it's in good shape. And we're just going to pull those screws out, all right? This first, you probably don't have to, but I think we want to clean this and then put a little lubricant in here. So you could probably just pull those screws out and just push this to the side. But everything is dirty. Even though I pressure wash, you'll see there's going to be quite a lot of crud. I have the brightness turned down a little bit. Move this out of the way. There's a little spring, right? Because I know shiny things, it's hard. See this little spring right here? See it? It's on the end of this arm right here. Notice which direction the hook goes. Okay. So we're going to just lift this up. And there's like almost no tension on. And the spring is for this guy, the sail. Right? That's our throttle. I'm just going to come over like this. Around the back of the carburetor, right where it mounts to the engine. And just slip it off. And you'll notice, right, there's almost no tension. See the normal? There's like no tension on it. Don't be twisting it around or anything. There's just no tension. And all it's doing is coming this way, right, as you put this on and bring it around to the front. Now, you can see all of this stuff here. This all got to be clean because this is the slider, right? And if it's stuck, it's stuck, right? That's not, you know, sticky. We're going to wash that. That's after I reached underneath there. All right, I think that's my customer. All right, we'll play in a minute. I like the overhead setup. Another nice way is I have the other camera coming from this direction, but a better way would be to put it in front of me, but the toolbox is there, right? So I say what we do is let's just clean it off because I don't want too much dirt getting into the carburetor. So we'll just clean it and just be careful. See these in the cover, there are these like bushings or ferrules. So keep an eye on that. Don't lose them. Sometimes they come right out. Like this one. Sometimes they're stuck. But let me wash everything first, and then we'll open it up. Right, there's one there. So I'm just going to brush everything down with a bit of solvent first so I don't get so much of it like inside the carburetor, and then we'll come back. I just use a bit of my old solvent. It's you know, it's got all the goodness and nutrients. You know, it's mostly gasoline, some oil, gum out, brake cleaner. As long as it doesn't smell. So I'll be back in a minute. This is the stuff that the pressure washer didn't get. You can't really get the super clean in these areas. Notice, like I put super clean on, but I use very little, and I don't leave it sit too long. And notice there's no damage to anything. And you'll see when we're all done. The super clean is just to loosen up some of the baked on, cooked on, gross filth. Look how clean this is. Right? It's in mint shape. And like I said, you don't have to worry about super clean, because just don't leave it on too long. Don't immerse it. It basically, it's acting on the grease. Well, here, let's put this down. There we go. It's probably mucky. I can see some oil coming out of it. That's it. There we go. Yep. Oh, you see, look. Yeah, it's just muck. I can smell it too. It's been sitting a while. This is stuck. All right. Oh, there's a piece of junk right there. Okay. I put it over here. So we're gonna clean this out in a minute. I just want to show you. This was not really even that dirty. There was some junk on the surface. Rinsed it with some water and a bit of super clean. Blew it off. You get your towel and you squeeze it into your towel. It's pretty clean. Look how mint that is, right? Nice and clean. Everything ready to go. No issues. And the top, right? I had to brush that out in my solvent for a little while because that was gacky. Just see, we can kind of just pry a little bit. Yeah, it's coming. It wants to go. It's just stuck. Put it down. Just pry lightly with a pair of side cutters. Okay, that's enough. Let's see if we can just grab it. There we go. Let go. It's stuck. It's magnetized. Looks good there. Just a bit of junk down here. All that looks good. Okay. We do have some junk here, and that's why I like to take a little acid brush. I also use like a little paintbrush too, the smaller one, and I cut the bristles down. And so it's just junk. So what we're going to do to start off with, let's see if we can just loosen it up. Could scrape it a little bit too. We don't want any of this coming off and getting back in and around. There we go. That's all that is. Yeah, that's fine. How's our gasket look? Our gasket looks real good. Yeah, that's all. There's nothing really here. Yep. It's just this stuff is turned to it got a little water in it. That could have been from us, pressure washing. But we could see it turned to an oily yuck. The years of sitting and building up, but it kept everything mint. That's one of the things about these better, these two strokes. Even with the alcohol, like they tend to last a little bit better. Now I want to get right here. I want to get my squirter underneath this. But before we do that, right, this is getting cleaner. Let's find out what this is. Okay, that's our idle adjustment or mixture adjustment. So let's go in. So I'm going to go in. That was a quarter turn. All right, and let's pull it out. So that's where it was set. It may change, but see, that looks pretty good. It's just a little dirty. We're going to polish that up. Right now, yeah, that's good. I'll take my poker just to nudge a few spots. There's nothing in there. Where else can we shove it? In here into the emulsion tube. that's good. I don't think we can take this out. But we can put something in it. Yeah, we got some stuff. Yeah, that's good. She's in really good shape. Yep, this little hole here, the second little hole, the bigger one is the emulsion tube, but you can see it's coming out the idle screw area. Now we want to get underneath that baffle plate, right, which comes out this way. That's clean. And then when I go to blow it, it's low pressure air, about 20 pounds or so from your air compressor. There we go. We have purged this. I think we did a good job. Yeah. There's nothing in here now. A couple of little pieces of junk here and there that'll blow out when we go to hit it with air pressure. Yeah, ain't nothing in there now. All right, we blow it away from the table. Yeah, fellas, that's mint. Now, if we can, we could take this off, right? Now that we've got it cleaner. See? And what we're going to do is I'm going to put some of my special sauce on it, which is the tranny fluid mix. First, we're just going to dunk it a little bit. And just kind of, I like to scrape it. Yeah, this is like, it looks like there's some life left in this. If you want, you can replace it. Yeah, she's in good shape. Put some of my tranny sauce on it, because you know what's inside of a transmission, right? Highly polished metals, different types, and these. It's kind of like to just pull it through my fingers a little bit and see if anything comes off. And if it cracks while I'm pulling it, that's no good. But it's not bad. Just roll it through a tissue. Just to knock off anything that might be coming off. And she's getting close to the end of her life. It probably will seal up. Let me see if I have another one, though. But while that's sitting, a couple of things we can do. I don't know what I did with mine. Here we go. So let's just take the spring off. There's gook there. Okay, and then we'll take our Scotch-Brite and just a quick polish. Carefully spin it. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's fine. Put that down. Check the spring. I'm just going to blow the spring with a little bit of compressed air. And then we're going to put our fluid on it. Just set it to the side. What we want to do is I just want to run the wire brush by hand over this area here. There is some oxidation and buildup in the gasket area, and that could cause it to leak. So first I'm just going to kind of go through with my screwdriver. I have a blunt version of this screwdriver that I use too a lot of times, just to get in the corners. Just be careful of that spring. Just hold it, you know, this has got a bunch of little hazards on it. It's sail and it's a little sensitive. That's good. Now I'm just going to put it down, and I'm just going to carefully go through. It doesn't require much. Yeah. That's good. All right, quick wash and a blow. It's mint. Right. I didn't use the other camera because it generally don't. You're going to be able to see much more than me trying to hold it up to a side view. It's weird being overhead, I know, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because this is what the other view looks like. It's not the same kind of view, and everything is on an angle. I mean, it's still useful, but with carburetors, it's hard, because then I can't look at it while you're looking at it. I have to look at it, and then I have to show you. And I have to look at it, because remember, I'm working on it, right? You guys need to come over and help me out. All right, let me clean up a little bit, and then we'll assemble it, okay? We still got to get this guy a little bit clean. So for this, same thing. I have another brush that I like. Hold on. This one's just a bit more rounded. See, yeah. It's not the same thing. This is just a bit more rounded. And it just knocked off some of the junk. See, for a used carburetor, right, it's in mint shape. And then the last thing is this guy. So for stuff like this, same thing. Right, threads are a little bit gross. So what I do down on the table, I hold it. All right, and that's where probably the overhead would be just as good. But then I just take the wire brush, and you may not even be able to see it, but I just gently... And if you want, put a little something on there like I just did. And I make a few passes. Turn it, and I just keep doing this. Because it's steel, so it's a bit rusty. I think this one is steel. It could be brass. I don't know. We'll see when we get close to it. Oh, I think it's steel. Hold on. There's my magnet. Yep, steel. It's some kind of steel. Because I just put it on the magnet and it didn't pull really tight. And that gasket's still okay. Don't keep fooling with it. You'll wreck it. All right, until you're ready to put another gasket on. Let me blow it. I don't have as many of these parts around anymore because I stopped doing a lot of it because it's not that user-friendly, you know. The government's trying to get you away from them, and I like the old Lawn Boys, like a lot of this stuff. I actually like them. They were pretty... This is a nice machine, and it's in good shape. All right, I'm going to clean up, take a quick break. Yeah, my hands stink. Get all this stuff clean and put away. And we'll come back for the build process. All right, let's see what we have. All right, this thing is just in excellent shape. All right, so I guess what we'll do... Let's see how this fits. All right. It should be okay. Well, we'll know. And again, anytime you blow anything off, right, use low pressure air, about 20 pounds or so. I'm going to put the bowl in first. And do these things first, so because this is the fragile part of it. And then put a few little burrs on that. We could try to polish that off, but let's see if it goes in. Let me turn on the other camera. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, she got a little bit of a burr on her, but we just need to press that in a little bit. Oh, it's dirty. Hold on. Let's just gently. Yeah, she went right in. She's in, no problem. Okay, put the gasket back. And let me just see if I have another gasket real quick. See, these really I don't think are the right size. They're too big. And for a slightly different bowl, I mean, they should work, but I'll try that. Put a little bit of this stuff on. I usually put this stuff on and I put them away. These are just used. I don't do as much, you know, not just with the 2-stroke, but just even the 4-strokers with the Tecumseh. Let's see if that fits. Yeah, it fits. We just have to be a little bit more careful putting it on. It fits nice and tight around the lip. See? It's taller. So we'll have to put a little bit more pressure on it. Yeah, let's put a little bit in there, a little bit here, and around to get some more around the gasket so that everything goes in nice. Yeah, that's my one concern, is it sits up a little proud. All right, let's turn it in and see. See if it goes in well. A little bit more here. Turn it all in. Seems like it's going now. Now we don't want to distort it, right? It's tight. Well, that looks good. It went straight. Well, no. I mean, I could fill it with fuel and see. All right, let's blow into it. Let me just blow into it. Let me show you on the other camera. So we should hear something going this way, or I'll hear it. Yeah, it's going good. Okay. Now we'll go upside down. Okay, it's off. Now, because these are older, right, they're not fitting as tight. So we want to get a clamp on that. So as soon as I'm done building it, before we go to put it on, let me see what clamps I have. I should have something for that size. I think that's a little different size. So I'll poke around. Originally they don't, but you know. All right, so this came out a 1/4 turn. So we're going to turn it until it stops. And then back it out. All right, and it's right there. So that's about a 1/4 turn. And we're going to put a little oil, a little more tranny fluid stuff on everything. Everything is moving good. That's all there is to it. We're ready. All right, we're going to, let me set up the cameras. We'll go and install it. Not much to show you there, right, fellas? But like I said, I want to go find some clamps for the fuel line. I even just checked the footage. So starting over here behind the carburetor, I hook the spring, pull it over, and you can see where the spring is, right? It doesn't get hooked on there. That's like a keeper. It kind of hooks back further in this assembly. And then this guy here, right, they engage each other. See the slider? Watch. And see, then it hits it, puts the choke on. And then when you push the slider over, it takes the choke off. And it changes the sail tension a little. See? Okay. And so watch that footage, because I just watched it again. And I'm like, okay. And then I got, now these clamps are more like the Honda size. Okay. They're not the Briggs size, so they're a little smaller. All right, so if I screwed it up, then we're going to have to fix it. Okay, but I think this is right. Now, this piece here, there is some room to put it on if you want to disconnect it. There's some room. Way it goes is up this way. I think it goes, like this. Does it go like this? Let me see. It has to come from underneath. Oh, that's a little dirty. All right, I just put a little lubricant on it too. So let's see if I can come from underneath. Now I got to stop watching the camera now. Yeah, just like that. All right. And then slide that sail underneath. And then we're all good to go. And then let's screw it in. Really simple. The first time I worked on one of these, I was like, what? It was so simple. I'm like, how could this work? Well, it does. And it works pretty well. And it's oversimplified. It's so simple. You'll overcomplicate it, trying to think it through or whatever. So that fuel line probably goes, I don't know exactly sure where it goes yet. So they have to screw with that. Well, it seems pretty good. All right, let's just tighten this up. Now, it should have spark and everything. Before I put the fuel tank on, I want to check the plug. We're going to clean it. Probably in very good shape. All right, so the sail, all right, and what that does is as the fan spins, right, it's pressuring the sail, which is opening and closing the throttle in response to engine demand. And then as we move this thing here, so if I got it right, let's just check it. All right, hopefully you can see that. If not, I'll get the other, all right, see how it's moving it? Now, what we want to do now, this is a little tight here. I don't think I like the way this is. I'm going to cut that tie wrap. I don't like that tie wrap like that. I'm not so sure about that tie wrap. I guess it's okay. Let's bolt this back first before I work the tie wrap. The nut goes in here. There's a spot for it. It stays. It's captive. Yeah, it feels like it's a lot of tension. It doesn't need to have that much tension. Sometimes tie wraps are, we use them and that feels uncomfortable. Doesn't really need to be there. Let's give it a little bit more. It's not anybody's way. Because cables like a little, that's better. Cables like a more slender routing. Yeah, that's much better. All right, let's see. Let me move it. Yeah, she's moving. So as I move, okay, and as I close, good. It's closing the choke. Let me set up the other camera and I'll show you that. I'm going to try to hold I got to reach. Okay? And then sorry for the camera, but you see? So this is it up here. So this has got to be clean. And if this comes out, this steel bar, if it's rusty, take it out real careful or just leave it in and hit it with some Scotch-Brite or whatever to polish it up. Make sure it's in nice shape. Just be careful because you could break these tangs but it does have to be clean and kind of polished in order for it to work properly. Just gross, right? Let's clean it up. It's kind of fouled. I don't know if I have another one of these. This one's a little RJ12C. But it's not terrible. It's a little bit fouled. That's nice and clean. See? Now, I use the sandblaster, but what I do is I wire wheel first to get off any of the crust. Then I rinse it, okay, because you don't want that oily gook. Then I blow it high-pressure air. Then I sandblast with high-pressure air. Then I take it out and I blow it high-pressure air again while it's dry. Then I wash it, spray with a lot of gum out and stuff, and you'll get gunk out of there, right? You got to get it all out, blow it with high-pressure air again, and then I gapped it to 30, and there's just a touch of no-seas on it. I probably have a couple of these plugs around from some of the machines I pulled apart, but these are a little different. They got a little bit bigger area here for heat sink, right? They get hot, right? So let's put this in, and I got one more thing I want to show you. Now this is part kill and the return spring. And that's why I like to get it good and clean. And it is adjustable, but it doesn't look like it needs adjustment. However, right, it is able to move. So what I want to do is get in here with my chain lube. And then if you want, you can follow up with a bit of chain wax. But we're going to get the chain lube in first. And then pull it back. We want to lube up here too, fellas. Do that in a bit. Right, it's a little sticky. So we're going to lube the other end. I think part of that stickiness is coming from the other end as well. How does that look? Yeah, that's fine. Put a little bit more in here. Try to get it in there. And like I said, if you want, you can follow up with some chain wax, because the chain wax it waxes up. So let me move it a bunch of times. This stuff will kind of wax, not as much as the actual wax. Let's move it a few more times. Let me put some up here too. Kind of going blind up here because I can't really see where the cables go. That is better. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, let me tickle it with some chain wax, because it hasn't been done. And this will coat it and keep it from going rusty. And there's your electrical stuff. I didn't check to see if it's sparking or not. He said it ran. I'm going to take him on his word. All right, let's see if he's telling the truth. I know, right? Because if it doesn't work, we got to take the top back off and come back in here and find out why. But everything looks good. Now, also, I put some of my transmission fluid mix into the combustion chamber and spun it around a little bit, and then check the end of the spark plug wire, make sure it's okay. That transmission fluid will go around and work its magic. By the way, this is also part of the brake assembly. Everything looks okay. I don't think we need to adjust the magneto. That looks like it's okay. You can see the gap in there. It looks like about correct. This thing's in nice shape. Like, you don't have to do everything, but if you find that there's rust in here, you might want to clean it up. This thing's really nice, right? All right, we're going to put the fuel tank on now and fill it up with fuel, and also I have another one of these clamps, so we'll put that clamp on. All right, now this I cleaned up the other day, if you remember. So this has been, not only did it dry that day, but it also had time as a full day to dry. Now this should just drop right down, and then, yeah, that goes underneath, and then let me get the clamp on and all that. And the last thing is we're going to put some lubricant. I don't have the camera set for you, but up in here, right? It gets real nasty. You can use oil or chain lube, but chain wax, you want to get it in a little bit first. You want to get it underneath the spring. Make sure, I cleaned this already, so you want to get it all up in there, make sure it's all good to go. And you can tell I'm pulling it right now, and it feels grovelly. It gets dirty, and it does need a touch of lubricant. So not a lot. And wipe up any extra. Okay, let it drain down or whatever, and just wipe up any extra. You don't want too much, because even though it sits in this cup and it's kind of out of the dirt comes in from the top. So we want to keep that as clean as possible. I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, let's give it a test, fellas. Let me tie back the bail, and we're going to start it the old-fashioned way. I'm not going to help it. Remember, there's some bit of gas mixed with the transmission fluid that I put in the combustion chamber. All right, let's give it a tug. right, so she at full RPM she runs 3480, which is fine. It feels like the throttle is backward, at least according to the label. But you could see this throttling. When I first started, I had it on choke, and I left it on choke, and it wanted to stall. But then I realized, pull the choke off. I haven't used one of these in a while. Let's just start it real quick. No choke. That's nice. All right, I think we got it. All right, let's bring it in. All right, with an RPM of 3480 at full, and then you can hear it come down. I did mention the sticker. It's like when you go for full turtle, like get the turtle poking. She kind of comes down in RPM, and then you go. She comes up in RPM rather, and if you go full rabbit, so full turtle is high RPM, so you're pulling the handle back up on the throttle back on the handle. If you pull it back, you can hear it. It comes up. You push it forward. If you go all the way forward, it's full choke. So when I first started, that's what you saw. I let it sit like that for a minute, and I realized, I'm like, okay, it's a choke. I get it. Let it load up a little bit, then I pulled it back, and you see the RPMs come up, and then it evened out. I don't think we need to adjust that carburetor. It doesn't seem to need anything. It's running really good. So is the handle backwards? It could be. It needs to run a little bit more. I let it run for a while, but it definitely needs to run a little bit more. I can smell it, right? I can smell when I was cleaning it and the old oil and everything it needs to burn off. This mix is not that great. I got to get some fresh fuel and a fresh mix. But it's good for testing. I lubricated everything. The adjusters, the wheels, they're fine. Everything is good. She's in good shape. If you let me put a paint job on this thing would be mint. It's like kind of like a useful collector's piece. Like something that you can actually use. He's got other lawnmowers. Maybe he'll let me do it. If not now, then maybe we could do it at another point in time. I think that would be great, right? Wouldn't require a lot. The paint will be a little expensive. It's not cheap to do, but I think it's worth it. I think everything else is good to go. The carburetor is really generally the most important thing, but if you don't treat it right, you'll burn out the engine. I didn't do a compression test. I don't think we have to. You can just judge by the overall. It was kept in a location where it didn't get totally abused. I met the guy, I hung out with him for a little while. A nice guy, knowledgeable. He's got a bunch of machines. He has an appreciation. Works, he's a worker, so, he understands the sweat of the brow. I think that's it for this one, fellas. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did, and I got an opportunity to do a nice older lawn boy. I don't know what the date is on it. You want me to look? I'll look. I'll come back. It's somewhere probably in the serial number or something. I don't know what it is. It's definitely made in USA. Probably 80s, be my guess. This is probably somewhere, I don't think it's that important. But my guess is somewhere in the 80s. It's electronic ignition, so it's not 70s. It could be 80s. I don't think it's 90s. This is probably, I remember these. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching this episode at Archer's Garage with the old lawn boy, repair. Totally fun. I really enjoyed this. This was fun. Didn't take long. Took me longer to clean it. I'll see you guys later.